Welcome back to our podcast RAD. We've got our guest, Mr. Adam. Please wave at the
Hello.
camera.
Hello.
All right. As usual, with Mr. Radu on my
Hello,
right
hello.
side, Mr. Dragos,
Hello everyone.
and myself, Adi. Right. What we're going to talk about today?
I think I just wanted to let everybody know who Adam Sandyford is.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the close friends that works with us. And from what I understand, like this is just recently that I heard from Theo, one of our co-workers, that you've been in Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, long time.
Or is it
ago.
like a, it was
Long
like
time
a
ago.
meme something? I don't want to put
Yeah,
Theo on the spot
no,
now.
That's fine. Yeah, I've been on Britain's Got Talent twice.
Twice.
Yeah, so dancing is something that sort of not a lot of people in my family knew I could do. I didn't really know I could do it. Did a couple of talent shows, and then applied. Been on it twice. Didn't get very far. Haven't been on TV.
Is it like,
So-
is it in stages? I always wanted to ask somebody who went.
So
like
the way
if-
it works is you get your pre-audition. So basically, you'll get sent to go somewhere. So the first one I did, I went to an Excel Centre in London, and you basically just have a big room. So when you watch TV and you see all the big rooms where there's tons and tons and tons of people,
Yeah.
that's pre-recorded footage before you're in front of the judges.
Oh.
So you go there, you perform in front of a producer. You then have to wait around to find out if you go through to the next round, which is then when you see the judges and meet Ant and Dec. So it's a pre-bit before you get to the TV bit.
Okay, fair enough. So how far did you go? Is it like the second step also?
Literally the first step.
No.
Got there, went there, they
is
said
it,
no.
Is it the same judges though, like the main ones? Or
No,
is it like
so
separate
it's just
new
like
judges?
producers. So when you first go up to the pre-recordings, it's basically in front of producers where they decide whether you're good or bad and who's going to make it to TV.
Who's
so-
worth the money?
Well, not even who's worth the money. Like you get those terrible acts as well, don't you? So the people that are really, really, really bad. Obviously, that's done for entertainment
True.
purposes.
You have in Romania, whenever the Romanian Got Talent has its show, like a blooper thing, and you see some of the funny ones that didn't make the show, and they're really
Yeah. So that will also be the next stage after the one in front of all the producers. So
Oh.
it's quite interesting.
So you just didn't come out of the hell. You just been there. Didn't
Yeah.
come to the next stage.
yeah, yeah.
No, nowhere near to the
No,
heaven.
I
So
mean,
what-
I was
Thousands of people.
I was 11, 12 at the time when I went on. So
Yeah,
Oh,
you've got,
okay.
I
you've got
was-
some numbers, isn't it?
yeah,
Is that the
yeah.
number of how many people are?
Yeah. So I was. I've got the picture on my Facebook actually of my badge number from when I went on it the first time. But I was in year 7, so the same year my stepdaughter's in. So I was like 11, going on 12 at the time when I went on it. So it was a good 11, 12 years ago that I was on it.
okay.
So
It's
I
been a
was,
while.
I was a little one when I went on it.
So
But yeah.
you went there for dancing.
Yeah, I went there.
Theo was saying something about football.
No, I didn't do football. Not that good at football. It was
Oh, okay.
dancing. I went there to do Michael Jackson dancing.
Hey, yeah.
It was
Moonwalk, yeah.
yeah, moonwalk. It was probably around the time.
He was popular, to be fair.
I think it was just after he died. I went on.
Oh, fair
Oh.
enough.
So there was a lot of Michael Jackson people, but
I assume you're a big Michael Jackson fan, talking about music, right?
yeah, I'm a music fan. I mean, we all work together. That's how we all know each other.
I never saw the TV and
Um,
cloned Michael Jackson until now.
True.
But through work, you guys know I have a wide variety of music. I mean, one minute it'll be up-to-date music.
I know
old
you're from
music.
drum and bass. That's the biggest thing that you
Yeah.
can.
See, I like my older music. I like Elvis.
Me too, yeah.
I mean, for me, music is where you've got different songs.
Yeah.
So not everything sounds the same. So
yeah.
where my stepdaughter will listen to what's popular in the charts now,
Trap.
I don't really listen to that. Trap, drill, whatever you want to call it, jungle, whatever you want to call that. But I mean,
We had an argument before about that. I said that that's not really music. Why? Because music, to be called music, you have to have some certain elements. So we talk about rhythm, which they have. We've got the lyrics, which is more poetry, that if you want. Then very important is the melody and the harmony. So if you don't have these two, there is no music.
but I mean, for me as well, good music is something that stands out and is different.
Oh, okay. Plus the fact that
Well,
the genders
that's
and the
a major thing, especially if you have like some certain feelings that brings out of you. That's the point of having music, right?
That's
music for
that's
me
your
is-
experience in general.
That's why I'm saying like
Mine,
hip hop,
yours.
for example,
Yeah,
would be.
I mean, for me, what I would dance to is completely different to what I'd listen to sat at home.
Definitely, yeah.
Because you're looking for different tempos. You're looking
Yeah.
with dance. You want to be whatever the lyrics are. You want to be different to the lyrics. You want to find that pocket of rhythm behind the lyrics where you can incorporate both.
Yeah, so basically you can dance on trap, but you cannot have a breakdown on trap and cry.
No, yeah.
I mean, you can if you want to, but you have to be, in certain
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, obviously, with what we do for work, when you have a terrible day, you get in the car and you might put something like Adele on and just sing your heart out driving home after a stressful day.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Or when you get to the end of the week, you've got a couple of days off, you've got party music on and you're celebrating.
well, yeah, that's a party music. All this modern music goes well in the clubs and whatever. If you want,
Yeah, I mean, for me,
festivals as well.
modern music now is sort of made to be clipped up and snipped. You're looking for like
remixes and
remixes, and not even that. You're looking for those minute clips of a song that are going to go big on TikTok. You're looking for short pockets of space. Whereas, I think the way I was brought up, my dad was massively into Queen, so I heard a lot of Queen growing up. Elvis, my mum loved Elvis, and then I've sort of fallen into that.
area.
You can put anything on, and I will find something. Like, one of my favourite things to do is I go down rabbit holes on YouTube of finding completely unknown artists,
Oh, that's
and then
the
just
best,
loving
yeah.
their music.
Some of their versions of very popular songs are so. I mean, how would it be better if I would say nothing is better than the original? But still, I feel like some
Yeah,
of those
to
are
be
doing
fair,
way better.
Some covers do sound sometimes
Oh,
better
yeah.
than the original. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, you got.
It's just that the tone of the voice of another
Yeah.
singer would make like a
Yeah,
different
I mean,
version.
Or
of
maybe
the
you
song.
don't know the original. You just
Yeah.
heard it for the
yeah, yeah.
It's like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean as well, you've got, like, my favourite thing is artists that don't have record labels sing the way they want to sing, whereas you get a lot of people that once they get their deal, they have to do what the label wants them
Yeah,
to
that
do.
is more commercial music.
Yeah.
Not.
So I like finding sort of the raw, uncut
Yeah.
gems. I mean, there's an artist that I listen to called Ren, and the only reason I know of him is because he busked in Brighton, and I mean, he does rock, he does reggae, he does rap.
Wait, he's a singer or is it like a producer?
He's everything. He writes his own
Produces,
songs, he produces his own songs, he produces his own videos.
I mean, these days it's more easy to produce your own music because
Yeah,
obviously
Yeah.
technology just got to the point that you can do it, but
Yeah, but still, it's very hard to go mainstream, to go like to be everywhere.
you have to be good.
You
to
still
it.
need the big labels.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he's still solo. He hasn't got a record label, and he just a couple of weeks ago he got a #1 album. There's a solo, not
That's great.
signed to a label,
That's
which
amazing.
is kind of cool because I know him from standing on a street corner in Brighton, playing the guitar and singing.
Do you know?
Wait, what? You just listen to him on the street?
Yeah,
and
that's how I got into it.
It was like, sometimes I see that on the street. If some of the singers have their own like
Yeah,
QR
yeah,
code,
yeah.
and like, let's scan that.
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
give me a follow or something.
Yeah, that's how I found him in Brighton.
yeah,
years and
that's
years and
that's
years
a cool
ago.
story.
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah,
Uh,
and then since then I listen to his music all the time.
do you know Jacob Collier?
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
how he is.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what you sort of find scrolling through the internet when you're not looking for something specific, and you realise how talented people are that
Yeah.
aren't in the mainstream,
Yeah.
is
It's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
it
to
is.
be fair, YouTube is a good platform for this type of stuff. If you like wanna hear loads of new people that are upcoming and don't have a producer or like a big label, YouTube I think is the best way to.
Yeah.
And I know that some singers, for example, they were doing covers of Adele, whatever, and now they became spotted by one of the big labels. And
Yeah, I
became,
mean,
good.
like, for example, I don't know if you guys know Sam Ryder.
That sounds.
He did a song called Spaceman and was on Eurovision
Oh
last
yeah,
year
yeah,
for the
I know
UK.
her.
He got his break from putting TikToks up during lockdown.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
That's how he got noticed.
The way she sings that, if I'm not wrong, I mean the way she sings it, it was like an a cappella version, isn't it? No.
Yeah.
She.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it she?
He's got long hair though, long hair,
No way,
beard.
man.
Does,
wait. Then we speak about two different persons.
different.
Maybe.
Maybe
Yeah,
a different
yeah.
person, yeah, true.
but yeah,
And yeah, outside of music, how is your life as a parent? Is it like
I mean,
I don't have a
I'm
kid myself, so
currently,
I'm just interested now how it feeling.
I mean, currently I'm 3 weeks into being in a baby bubble with my missus. So
Congratulations.
had my son born on the 5th of November. So it's quite nice to get out and see people again. Because we've sort of been in a baby bubble. Obviously, we've seen family and things like that. But it's nice to sort of get out the house sometimes and have that 5 minutes. Like my missus will get out and have her 5 minutes as well. It's an adjustment. Like I said, I've got a stepdaughter, but she's nearly 12, so she's getting to that stage where she's very independent. Like she's going out with friends and things like that.
How does she deal with the newborn?
Loves it.
Loves it, right?
It's genuinely because there is such a gap. There's none of that jealousy. She's a big older sister and she loves it. She helps with nappies. If we need her to hold him, she'll hold him. So it's been really nice. Sort of it's brought us all together as well.
Oh, that's good.
Which is nice. I mean, she's at that age where she's quite smart. So if we've had a long day and me and my missus are trying to decide what to have for dinner, she knows if we haven't said anything by 5 o'clock, 9 times out of 10 we're getting a takeaway.
Yeah.
That's better than AI.
Yeah. It's when you're young, you pick up on those things from your parents, don't you? Like the little cues, you're like, oh,
It's
might
better
get a
than
takeaway.
Alexa.
Yeah.
Pays attention, to be fair, yeah.
Yeah.
The gap between me and my sister is also really big. It's like a 12-year gap, and probably was the same when I was a little bit more small. She kind of wanted to take care of me and was like that feeling of wholesomeness. I don't know if she wants to.
Yeah, I mean,
Rather than, for example, if they're the same age gap, they would fight more. Or they're like
yeah,
jealousy would
you're going to
appear,
have
other
that
feelings would
jealousy. I mean,
appear.
if there's a gap of like 3 or 4 years, you're naturally going to get that jealousy because they're very much in that age where they want all the attention on them. And then this other little human has now taken all their attention. Whereas when you're that much older, you want to be left alone. Like,
No, I'm 29 years old, and me and my brothers and sisters, we still have that problem.
Yeah, maybe that's what remains.
I mean, there's always going to be there's always going to be sibling rivalry. I mean, I'm quite lucky. I'm an only child, so I'm speaking.
You
from
got all the
experience.
attention from your.
Yeah, I'm speaking from having all the attention on me. So
Yeah, I mean,
it's been quite nice because obviously she has been our sole sort of world for since I met her when she was 4. So I mean, a good 8 years I've known her, and she's sort of been mine and my partner's everything. So now for her to be able to have her own time, but also share that attention.
That's perfect
with her
timing. Also
brother.
prefer because she's going towards the teenagers here, so rebel part.
She's getting to that point where she wants to come home from school, shut her bedroom door, and be left alone.
but listen, I
Yeah,
find
that-
I find it a bit weird, not in the full sense of the word, but let's talk about him. It's the small one, isn't it? It doesn't have any preferences. Let's talk about your little one as well.
The little one, he's very much hungry.
Is he a noisy?
He's. Do you
Or
know
quiet,
what? Me and my missus say we're very lucky. He's very content. The only time he cries is if he wants food.
Oh, fair enough.
But I mean, it's every 3 hours. On the dot, 3 hours is when he starts fussing, and then if that bottle's not ready, that's when you start getting the screams. But I mean, we've been reading loads of stuff, and it's quite funny. They always say newborns sound like animals. When he wants a bottle, he sounds like a bird. So my partner calls him Little Bird because of the way he sort of uses his voice. He sounds like a little bird, which we find hilarious. But yeah, no, it's
what I've noticed with my niece, for example, is that she grew up so fast. Like before I left Romania to UK, she was like she could fit in my palm, and now she's literally 6 years old, and she's growing up as a lady. So it's like they grow up so fast. Especially my sister was sending pictures of her like growing up. Like literally in a couple of weeks, she grew up so much.
I mean the amount they grow in. I mean he's
couple of months.
He's 3 weeks and 2 days old, and the amount he's grown already is ridiculous. Like he's starting to get features and things like that where you can sort of almost start to say, oh, he looks like his mum, he looks like his dad.
Yeah,
which everyone does.
Yeah.
always guesses at the beginning. But
Yeah.
does he? I don't think so. He doesn't have the colors of his eyes.
No,
developed.
not yet.
Yeah.
So when
Blue.
you're a newborn, everyone has
Yeah,
blue
blue,
eyes.
yeah,
which
the dark blue.
which until he was born, I didn't know. So when my missus was like, "Oh, he's gonna have blue eyes," I was like, "No, we've both got dark eyes."
Yeah.
She was like, "No, every baby has blue eyes."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
I didn't knew that, to be fair. I didn't notice that about my niece.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
she
Yeah.
had blue
So
eyes.
it's I
Very
didn't
dark
know
blue,
either.
not like
Yeah.
like
No, it's not like piercing blue. It's
Yeah.
very like dark
Darker blue.
But
Yeah.
you'd almost say dark bluey black.
yeah.
Really, it's
Yeah.
that sort of blue, like a
fair
navy
enough.
almost.
Yeah.
I didn't knew that. That's a new thing for me. I didn't notice about my niece that, so.
Yeah, no, but then like again with the age gap, it's been nice because when my missus had her first baby, she was 23, and then to wait 12 years for us to have our first baby together, so much has changed as well. Like the advice midwives give you and all of this stuff. So it's sort of relearning everything for her as well. So it's
The process, I
nice.
think that's the
Yeah.
process of.
it's everything moves
Yeah.
forward, everything changes, the ideologies and things like that change as well.
Right.
For the future, let's say, now that you have a kid, is it gonna change the way that you approach everything? Because that's what I'm thinking. As once I'm gonna have my own kids, like is my mentality gonna change? Which I could do still. Let's say you have some plans. I want to do X, Y, Z. Are you gonna do the same X, Y, Z, or is it like maybe I don't want to do like?
I've already sort of started having these internal thoughts. Obviously, where we all work together, my role is what I do.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of at a point where now I've got the little one. Do I want to step up and potentially take on
More
more
responsibility.
workload and more stress, or just keep doing what I'm doing and be comfortable for the next couple of years and enjoy him being little
Right.
and not overwhelm myself at work and miss out on
Probably the second
on his.
variant is better.
yeah, which is sort of what I'm more leaning towards too. So
Yeah.
work wise, I'm sort of leaning more towards just steady,
Yeah.
staying in
Sustainability.
a sustainable place where I know I'm comfortable and I don't miss out on things that he's doing.
Yeah.
Personal life, it doesn't really change. I mean, instead of
Well,
it taking 5 minutes to leave and go out the front door, it takes you half an hour because you've got to get a car seat
Right.
ready, changing bag, things like that. But it's only small things. I mean,
would you, for example, to interrupt, would you want to start your own podcast, as you said now? That would you actually put it in plan?
I'd love to start a podcast.
Do you
It's
have
something-
anything
it's something I could do
to
at
share with
home.
us? Like, for example, you have like an Instagram, something that you want people to
Haven't
share?
got one yet. I need to work on
Do
it.
you have
I
a
need
Facebook?
I've
Do
got
you have something
Facebook,
to
but
advertise?
I haven't got anything to advertise.
Yeah.
Not
Alright.
yet, but that
The
will come
future
shortly.
channel is gonna be
Yeah.
underneath this one.
Yeah.
If you
When-
don't have
when-
nothing to advertise, please subscribe to this channel.
Yeah,
You know?
And
subscribe
then,
to this channel. Like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Yeah.
Ordered lingo. But yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah, maybe just when you want to travel abroad, that will be a little bit. For the
Yeah.
first 2-3 years, maybe you'll need to
Yeah,
just
I mean-
go in some places.
I mean, there's changes with everything, right?
Yeah.
As you get older, the things you want to do change, and how you can do them changes as well.
Yeah.
When you're early 20s, you think the world's at your feet. By the time you're a year, 2 years off 30, and you've been working, you're like, oh, my back, oh, my legs, I can't be bothered.
That's
Oh.
me right now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
too much work
Is
and
it
other
like
stuff.
a high amount of financial pressure having a child?
Yes and no. I mean, financially, it can be depending on how much pressure you want to put on yourself, especially with Christmas and things like that, because
yeah.
you don't want to set the bar up here when they're little and then constantly have to raise that bar. Like my dad always said as I was growing up, he was like, "We'll get you what we can afford."
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You've
That's
got
life.
Depends on your
you-
power of
Yeah.
that you have at the
You've
moment.
got to be
so you can-
realistic as well, and I mean,
Well, at least compared with other children, which probably their parents are more are richer, at least you have the presence of them.
Yeah.
The presence of the
I
parents.
mean, riches is not always in money, though. Be that guy.
No,
Riches
it's
is always
in
in the
family as
presence.
well, like, I mean-
think presence is a really, really, really important thing. I
yeah.
think in a family.
But then I mean, it's it's also your outtake on what a present is, because I mean, my little one, by the time it's Christmas, he's going to be 1 month old. He's not going to have a clue what's going on.
Yeah.
So me and my missus have said, look, if you want to buy him a present, go ahead, do it. If not, give us a little bit of money, like £5, so we can open up a savings account for him.
Yeah.
Something more sensible that will benefit him in the long run,
Wow,
rather
okay,
than...
that's really thoughtful also.
But
to be fair,
he's a month old.
he won't understand what the concept of a gift is, to be fair.
Yeah, he's a month old. At the moment, all he thinks about is milk and sleeping.
Right.
I mean, I was reading something the other day, newborns, they spend between 13 to 17 hours of a 24-hour period asleep.
Straight,
Yeah, that's quite a lot.
I see his eyes maybe 5 or 6 times a day,
Well,
and that's when he wants a bottle because he's hungry.
as I said earlier,
Yeah.
because they grow so much, I think the fact that your body like literally has to tear itself up, and bones have to grow. You have
Yeah.
to sleep. That's why
Yeah,
you sleep
yeah,
so
yeah.
much, probably.
Yeah.
Well,
You know.
I guess financially you will have to worry more after 14s, when they will be like around 14, 15 probably.
Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
start having
Towards
all-
college,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. But then again, it's how you manage it. I think when you know where you're going, you can sort of make provisions now while they're young, while
Yeah.
they're not completely dependent on you, and you can do little things, and it's slightly cheaper. If you put plans in place now, it'll help you down the line. So
You know that at school, the colleagues can set up standards outside of your standards. You know how
Yeah.
annoying is that?
yeah,
I mean, I remember myself when I went to school and I saw my colleagues having more or whatever, something that I couldn't have, or not necessarily couldn't, but maybe
yeah, no, yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
annoying.
yeah.
True.
There's always that.
Yeah.
That's the thing with growing up, right? I think
Yeah.
now there's a lot more stuff around mental health out there.
Yeah.
And schools do a lot more, whereas when I was younger, I don't think I'd heard about mental health until I was like 18, 19,
Yeah.
like nearly in my 20s.
Yeah.
But especially, sorry to interrupt, it's like back in Romania, the thing with the mental health wasn't a thing. So
Yeah, I
probably
don't
not
remember
even
anything
now.
about this.
No.
It's
Yeah.
not even
not mental
these
health
days.
as a concept, but
They
maybe
wouldn't-
depression, more of depression,
Yeah,
but not necessarily in school, less in school.
It's not specific to mental health though, because mental health is like a wide variety of things that can
Yeah.
happen, right? So
Yeah.
the concept in Romania, I think, is like really even now it's not too well known, so not especially in schools.
But then, like, with presents and seeing other people get different things, I think as children now, especially the way I look at my stepdaughter, she's a lot more aware of what's going on around her.
Yeah.
Like, you're more aware that there's a cost of living crisis and stuff like that. Like, I remember when I was her age, I didn't have a phone. Well, I had a phone, but it wasn't a smartphone. I couldn't
Yeah.
look at the news. I was still climbing up trees thinking I was the coolest kid in the world,
Yeah.
like running around in circles. And I thought that's what kids do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you look at the next generation, like, she's the way me and my missus say it, she's 11 in December, but she's going on 21. Like, the
I-
knowledge she's
I
got,
think
like
the
what they see as well, it's just completely different to how I was when I was a kid.
All four of us, for example, I think in this situation, like whenever we were smaller, we gone outside a little bit more than this generation.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I'm not sure that this new generation like knows a bit of the
I mean,
going outside, a little bit more of a naturey thing,
yeah, no, I
But
mean,
without detachment from technology.
Yeah.
I think that would be the word.
I mean, from the age of about 5 until I was like 16, every day after school, I was texting my mates, "What are you doing? Let's go out." It wasn't sat at home. I had a PlayStation, but it wasn't our be all and end all. We wanted to go out, ride bikes, play football. Like, I used to love playing football as a kid. Just find a field, kick a ball around.
We understand. For example, me, I just threw pebbles on the window for my friends. Was like, can X
Yeah.
come out and
Yeah.
play, please? Just
Come on.
that's what I wanted. I had like a Sega and stuff to play at home back in my day, but I
Yeah,
would
you
much
wanna-
rather want to go outside and just talk, chat, and I don't know.
But-
Have fun.
Many things in my home.
Not saying that
Outside
we're
all the
like-
time.
We're like boomers, like sitting on
Yeah.
like that back in my day. It was so nice.
No, but today's is, I think, is also the parents' fault, because they're trying to protect their children so much, and they feel that if they sit next to them in the apartments watching a movie, or on the tablet, whatever, it's better than to not know where they are outside. But before it was different, isn't it? I mean,
I completely agree with that. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember when I was growing up, my front door was never locked.
you
My
know,
front door was always open. Now I can't go to sleep unless I've checked the front door, checked the back door.
You see, that's the
It
difference.
is.
Is it like in the same area that we are in now? Did you grow up in this area?
Yeah, so I mean, I've lived in Hawley, which is
Hawley.
probably about 10 minutes away from here. I've lived there all my life. And you sort of see as the times change, as the years go on,
Gets busier.
it gets busier, the sort of
The environment changes.
environment changes, yeah. I mean, where Hawley, Crawley is close to the airport, you recognise a lot of people. You don't know them, but
Yeah.
you recognise all the faces
Yeah.
because of the airport.
Yeah.
I mean, before I started working with you guys, I used to work at the airport, and then you see all these people, and you're like, oh, I know you from the airport. I know you from the. I know you from the airport.
The small
you're
community,
walking,
yeah.
you're walking down the street, and you're talking to like, you're
10
not even
people.
talking. There's that very English thing of if you see someone you know, you just nod at them.
Shake your head. Yeah.
No need for it.
I
You
know.
just give them a nod.
Yeah.
Like it's a very. I think it's a British thing. I don't know. If you guys do it in
Romania, we
Romania.
just like we see a lot. We're like more verbal with
Yeah,
our
like-
stuff. Well, salute, how
salute,
are you,
yeah.
or
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Hello.
We try to introduce ourselves every time, even though we seem like 3 times a day. Salute, salute, salute. We say it every.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas here in England, it's very much just
Like-
you nod your head and you just carry on. Whether it's someone you do know or you don't know, you just nod your head.
Right. Okay. Let's check on time as well. I want you to be on schedule on whatever you have to do. Cause
We
I-
have
We've
like
still got
half, 20 minutes. Let's see.
Right.
Give it ish.
Yeah. I lived in Hawley just for about 5.5 years or something. Yeah, it's quite nice. Simple, relatively simple place.
A lot of charity shops.
Uh,
A lot of charity
well,
shops.
I haven't.
I mean, we the one thing I can say about Hawley is we were on the news for having the most charity shops on the high street.
Wait, I'm a bit. I don't know. So what's happening in these charity shops actually?
Nothing. It's just literally Hawley
Oh,
is just filled with charity shops.
okay.
Like
Oh.
we don't really have anything
Oh,
else.
that's the main theme of the.
Yeah, the
house.
main
we don't have
theme.
nothing.
We-
we have charities.
We've
shops,
got
yeah.
a Subway, a Savers, a bed shop,
So this is
a Waitrose, and then
Good,
sort of
good.
This is
Good
going
call.
back.
yeah, Boots, lots of barbers. I mean, I
Yeah.
think there's equal amounts of barbers as there are charity
you're
shops.
Right, you're right. Yeah, I mean it's like a village, which is nice.
Yeah, I would
I
say
just
we're a
what I like
village, yeah.
about it.
It's very small.
That's what I wanted to say. Like all 3 of us had a conversation at one point about villages and cities, where so we obviously gonna prefer living in a village
Oh,
rather
yeah,
than
I
a city,
just-
big city.
I-
I'm more sometimes like 5 days from a week I will live in a city, 2 days off. If possible, that would be perfect.
I could never live in London.
Yeah, London.
I
Me
couldn't
neither.
do it. I
Yeah,
could
but you
never
don't
live
have-
somewhere that busy.
As you said earlier, charity shops, but you're London, whereas you can go and outside and see a play. I don't know. You wanna?
Yeah, but
It's more of a
Something.
comparison. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
it's
No,
it's
no, no.
Yeah,
it's,
no, it's
it's not-
obvious. It's a
preference,
but
yeah.
just
it's not that there's a lot to do. I just don't like the hustle and bustle of London.
Yeah.
It's
Too many
too
people?
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Like, if you go to County Mall on a Saturday, that's too much because everyone's there on a Saturday. Like, if me and my missus ever go out shopping, we go 9 o'clock on a Monday morning once we've done the school run because there's just no one there. It's empty. You can do everything at your own pace. Whereas a Saturday, there's just way too many people and you feel a bit overwhelmed.
I feel the same. That's why I prefer to work in the weekends and I have my days off in
Yeah,
middle of the
yeah,
week
yeah,
because
yeah.
I feel more efficient. I go whatever. I'm not staying in the queues.
Yeah.
You
You can
It's-
get where you want to
yeah,
go, do what
quick
you want to
and
do,
do many
and
things.
get it done. Yeah. But then I think part of that is the subconscious anxiety that's come from COVID.
Oh, true.
Even
That's
before I was.
I
thinking
was
before.
the same before, but I'm
Yeah.
very aware that COVID has heightened my social anxiety.
Yeah.
Like I don't like being in heavily crowded areas.
Right. Yeah.
But
That-
then that's because I got used to being with just my dad or just my missus and her daughter. Like
Yeah.
small bubbles.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, going back to COVID, I think everybody had got impacted one way or another. Even though you don't want it to be affected, you got affected by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. After COVID, I remember that I felt like I want to go as many times as as I feel like back home and
Yeah,
everywhere I
that's
can, because
why not?
I felt like they eventually will come again with another wave.
Yeah,
I felt like
I
that.
was going to say, what was it like for you guys? Because obviously you're away from home.
family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, for me at least, was just literally got stuck here, and I was like, you have to accept it at the end of the day. Either you go back and then you stay back, or stay here and maybe you can chase your future.
I
So-
was
Yeah.
able to travel,
Yeah, we
but
were.
not when everything begins. Maybe at the end of 2020, I was
at the
able
end
to-
though,
yeah.
yeah. But at the
I
start
was-
of it, you
No,
couldn't.
No, I traveled all the time.
Craziness,
I
yeah.
traveled all the time, less. You were able. It was harder just because you had to pay all those tests.
Yeah.
They were quite expensive. You had to plan very well because you had to do.
Yeah, and
stay
at the
for-
beginning,
yeah.
I needed to stay for 15 days
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Yeah, you wouldn't
quarantine, and that's what.
it was
to
it was
plan ahead.
alright.
Yeah.
It was alright. No, nothing special.
Now I'm just wanna tie it back to something else because I remembered I wanted to ask the question about your podcast. We're just straight off
Yeah.
the subject. What would your podcast want to be about?
I would love to do a podcast
About what?
showing people different artists, like I said, like music wise, to start all the way back to the start, like showing artists that I've found on YouTube, like for example showing people Ren, a guy called Sam Tompkins. Like they've got so many videos on YouTube of what they've done over the past 6 years, and introducing a new audience to it and showing them what they can do and stuff like that.
Basically, you're into music though. That's the main thing.
Sports, music. I love sports. Watch every single football match that's on TV.
Oh, okay.
I'd maybe
Now that you have time, yeah, for sure.
Oh, now I've got time.
No,
No,
you
it's
have
quite nice. It's quite nice. I'm not used to having this much time off work, so being able to sit down and watch all the football's quite nice.
Do you have any hobbies in which you have to invest heavily?
No, I used to. So I used to play
Football.
football every weekend. When I was younger, I would train 2 times a week, play a football match on a Saturday, play a football match on a Sunday. I'd play for 2 different teams, train with 2 different teams.
Wait, it's like an amateur thing or
Yeah, just Sunday league.
semi-pro?
Saturday, Sunday league.
Oh.
On a Saturday, I'd play in goal. On a Sunday, I'd be a centre midfielder. So I was very
Midfielder, okay, fair
yeah,
enough.
ve-
Well, you're,
very-
you're the brains of the operation, right?
very sporty person. I mean, I used to play cricket as well in the evenings.
Cricket is something that I don't know. Back in Romania, also, it's not like a very popular
we don't
sport.
Well, it's a very,
Sport.
very British sport. But
It's, we don't. I
You will
don't
see
understand the
only-
concept of cricket.
You will see
Uh,
only
for
Charles
me-
and Adam playing it.
yeah.
No, it
Um,
looks like, or is similar to baseball, or is not even close.
It's similar in a sense, but then completely different in another sense. So baseball, the whole game will happen on one night, whereas cricket, there's multiple formats of cricket. So you've got Test cricket, which will be over 5 days. So one match will last 5 days. You've then got ODI cricket, which is one day international cricket, which is one day you play the whole match.
Why would you drag the match for 5 days? How could you drag the match for 5 days?
So
How it's the same teams playing each other, right? I mean, you don't introduce like new elements, right?
no, so one game is 5 days. You do basically. Have you heard of the Ashes?
No.
So that's England versus Australia.
Oh.
So you'll go to 5 different stadiums. You'll have 5 tests. Each one of those lasts 5 days.
Oh, wow. That's 25 days already. Boom.
Yeah, it's great over the summer. Sitting in a pub
1
watching the
month.
cricket, it's lovely. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it's
That's
sort of,
something so British, to be fair. That's the thing. We didn't grow up knowing what cricket is. We just know
Yeah,
about
I
the
don't.
bat and stuff. We have
Yeah, that's why I said
Something-
about baseball, because
Yeah.
for me it's similar, not similar. Looks
Well,
like
I think
baseball.
I misunderstood this cricket. Charles was playing polo, or how they call it.
yeah, that's on horseback.
Oh right,
Yeah.
it was not cricket.
I think Charles probably has played cricket, but he's most known for playing polo.
Right.
Interesting fact, my uncle, he used to work at a hotel in Ascot called Calworth Park,
All right.
and he used to put on the polo games for the princes. So he'd organise it for Prince Harry and William up at the
Alright.
hotel for when they came up to play polo.
Oh, fair enough. That's high-end friends, you know.
Yeah.
VIP.
High-end friends, VIP.
Yeah.
You know, session.
Well, if he's still in touch with them, can I have some tax exemptions?
Yeah, can they? No.
Oh,
Okay, we just lost the connection
can't hear
for
it,
the
but we
headphones,
can,
but everything is
still
fine.
hear each
Yeah,
other
it's
now.
We can hear ourselves. Now it's back.
Sorry for that.
That's all right.
All right, interesting with the game. So no other hobbies in which you invest. Like I would give example like photography, which you've got to invest quite a lot in order to
Yeah.
keep up somewhere there.
I mean, I've always wanted to sort of pick up something and run with it and stick with it.
Okay, professionally and to earn money out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things where you look at things and you're like, oh, you could get rich quick doing that. But then there's also stuff where you want to look at it and like really spend time on it. Like I watch loads of stuff like shoes. I'm obsessed with trainers, collecting trainers and stuff like that.
That's a proper job if you want to get into it. Like buying stuff that's from other people a little bit more cheap and then reselling it.
Yeah, so
If you know, that's the thing. You need to know they can be fake offs, right? Like spin-offs.
Yeah. I mean, I've just sold a pair of my trainers for £300,
And you bought it for
180.
Oh.
So
that's
not
literally
bad.
a market for it.
yeah, but for example, with those shoes, if you went back 3 years ago and I tried to sell them, I probably would have got 900 to £1,000 for them.
What the heck? What shoes are these?
They were off-white Converse, so
Oh.
they only made a certain amount of pairs, and then that was it.
It's like Jordans. If you
Yeah,
have a
I mean,
certain
I've got
perfect,
I've got loads
Jordans,
of Jordans. I've got Jordans.
they're so
I've
expensive,
got
like
Yeezys.
thousands.
Yeah.
Easily thousands.
But then this is the thing: the things that you can make money from now compared to what you can make money from 5-6 years ago,
Right.
Different, yeah.
Yeah, but
it's completely different.
it's like the price of the stocks. You've got to be on it because sometimes it's up, sometimes
Oh
it's
yeah.
down.
It's also knowing what shoes are going to become valuable in the future. Because if you buy the wrong pair of shoes, you've now spent
yeah.
180 quid on a pair of shoes. In 2 or 3 years'
It's
time,
nothing, yeah.
you could only be you'll sell them for 20 quid and you've made nothing on them.
Well, then I think every business has its own like risk and reward stuff, you know.
Yeah,
'Cause, you can invest some much time in something and then not turn out.
yeah.
I.e. podcast.
For example, cars. There are
Cars, the
some
same.
cars very expensive.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
making only 100 in the entire world. They will send 5 in UK. If you have money to buy that,
How many cars do you have, Mr. Dragos?
I don't have. I'm just saying.
Are you a driver?
He's a
Adam?
collectionist.
Yeah, I drive.
Right. What do you drive?
I drive a Renault Capture.
Oh,
It's a
that's
Dadmobile,
that's
as my missus
amazing.
calls it.
Is it a Batmobile?
Yeah. The worst thing is my 62-year-old dad has the exact same car as me, and he brought it before me. And I sold my old car to buy this car because my other car was too low down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well.
it's a reliable car.
Yeah, I love my car. Want to get a bigger car, but it's doing me well.
That's good, guys. When you get to drive,
I don't have a license, so
What
I
about you,
cannot
Radu?
drive.
I'm
I can drive a Need for Speed or something. I don't know.
Yes, I can install. I
My
can install an
PC or
emulator
whatever.
and play it on the
or whatever.
laptop.
Yeah.
Well, I promised myself that even though I did the online test and whatever, and I passed it, that I wanna do the driving lessons. Those ones I'd never had the time literally to. Every
Yeah.
time that I come off work, I'm so tired that I can't. Like I have a university going on, this podcast, and other stuff, other small projects. I'm like, when do I get the time to?
I
do that,
mean,
you know?
Learning to drive in the UK
But
takes up
it's-
so much time. It really does. Like learning to drive in the UK compared to other countries is ridiculous. Like
The wait list is really long though. So for example, if you wanna get a
no, they're very picky. What you mean, actually, isn't it?
well, it's you've got to do at least 20 hours of lessons.
Well,
You've
we
then
do-
got to do
same-
your
it's the
theory.
same in
same in Romania.
30 hours on.
Only
Yeah.
thing is, like
Okay.
as I said, it's hard to get a driving instructor, like to book the person, because for example now it's December. You would get one maybe in February.
Yeah.
And
What
of
do you
Jan-
have add up compared with Romania? You are more picky with the details and safety and this and that.
Oh yeah, you've got to
Yeah.
pass your theory
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So your
Yeah,
theory
was
test,
alright,
you've got to do
wasn't
your questions, and then you've got to do your periphery vision.
Yeah.
I took it 6 times before I passed. The one time I revised, I was 8 marks off. Every other time I was 1 or 2 marks off.
No.
It's not
But-
easy.
But it's expensive because every time you do your
30
theory
quid,
test,
something, 32 these days.
when I was doing it, it was £25 a go.
Yeah, well, now it's
Yeah.
30. Now it's 32
Yeah,
quid.
so
35, whatever.
but you're spending that every time just to pass the theory bit. Whether you're a good driver or not, if you don't pass your theory,
Yeah.
you can't then
Yeah, you can.
have your actual test to be able to drive.
The questions here are a little bit more tricky, to be fair, because in Romania there's a set. If you spend enough time learning the questions in Romania, so at some point they were gonna repeat. You kind of know the answer to the question.
Well,
Whereas here, that's a little bit more like not every
You've got
question
the highway
repeats.
code and
we've got a pool in Romania of around 350 possible questions, and they do 30, and you've got to pass 26 or
I
something
can't
like that
remember,
to
to be
be
fair.
to be at the theory test. But then they're a bit more picky in the traffic when you've got
Same
real-
thing. Same
the
thing in
real
Romania. I
practical.
passed the online one and the written one, and then didn't do the practical one. That's the
that's
important one. Yeah.
That's hard. If you do this driving, lessons and the test in places like Bucharest or London, that will be a pain in the ass.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd never want to do a driving test in London.
Imagine
So
central
bad.
London with this.
The one-way systems, the cyclists, the buses, the emission zones.
Well,
I'd get
You go
lost.
crazy.
I drive a couple of times, even in the middle of it, and I was surprised it's not that bad. Because you see, what you have better in UK than we have in Romania is that I think we have an agency which is really taking the time with designing the roads
Yeah.
and marking them
Yeah.
properly. So it's much easier actually.
Yeah.
In Romania you may find yourself in a very wide road with some barely seen lines, and you're like, okay, what I do if I want to go there?
True.
Left,
That's in
right,
Bucharest.
Yeah,
That's
do you know what? The one thing I can relate to is when I was younger, I went to Italy. The driving there, oh my God.
And the speed in
It's-
Italy is
My Lord. It's so scary. I got in the car. I went to put my seatbelt on and there was no seatbelt. Immediately, I was like,
This is-
okay,
you're in
hang
Italy
on,
now.
what's going on
I'm
here?
not driving this.
Yeah. And then you think you're all driving on the same side of the road, and then you're on the other side, and people are on your side, and you're just like, what
Yeah.
is? Like, I think from the airport to where we were staying, I genuinely think I saw about 10 accidents in the space of like a 15-minute
You
drive.
started sweating.
Crazy.
Yeah, I was like sat in the back like there's not even a seatbelt. Like, what is this?
Well,
But
listen.
fortunately, it's not that bad in Romania.
Yeah, we
but
do-
still is in between. It's not like
Yeah.
UK. UK
Yeah.
is easy, relatively easy, because people are relatively polite in traffic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
One thing-
yeah.
No, believe me.
growing
Believe me,
up
I
in
know.
Bucharest, in
I-
the capital, like the honking and the
Yeah,
street
that's
fights,
crazy.
they're like, why did you cross me, and start to get out of the car trying to beat the other guy? That's the common
Yeah,
thing.
but not.
Nothing. Yeah.
It's not happening. No, it's not that common. It's
Yeah.
it's relatively common, but not. It's not
Yeah.
that bad.
I
It
think
is
the-
kinda
I
common, though.
I genuinely think the worst place for road rage is probably Italy and America.
Romania could be probably on the list,
No,
but
no,
like
no.
maybe fifth. On
No,
the
don't
list.
go in Egypt or something.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
places
yeah.
where you don't
Oh,
have
there
any
will be-
rules.
yeah.
You
Oh,
can
Oh yeah,
drive
India,
on
like
every-
yeah, like India as well. It's just 24-hour gridlock. Like there's just no space to
No,
move.
it's quite nice because I saw some many videos and footages from India, and usually they cross each other without any lights or rules, and they don't have any problems,
Yeah,
no
I know.
accidents. I'm like, what?
Like
How they do it?
I remember being a kid and watching the Top Gear specials where they went to all these different countries, and you see the way other countries drive, and you're just like, oh my God.
See, that's a good idea to have like not a podcast, like a show like Top Gear.
Yeah,
Like you
It's
can
hard
go
to
and
have that.
because you guys can drive, you just go there and test the cars.
I'd love to. Do you know,
Please
I'd
find a
just love
sponsor.
to
Somebody is watching and is a big sponsor. Please sponsor us to make a show like that.
I'm watching a YouTube channel. I don't know if I need to. I
You can say what?
Yeah, Car Wow. You have ever seen
Oh, yeah,
Car
yeah,
Wow?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
crazy
yeah.
with drag race. And
What does it do?
That guy,
What's the?
I don't remember the name of this guy. What? He is driving one car,
Matt Watson.
and on the other side is another car. They are doing that. What is called like
Drag
race,
race.
like
yeah,
quarter
drag
mile
race.
speed
Yeah, quarter
races,
miles.
yeah.
And
Radu, this is a company which sells basic
yeah,
cars
yeah.
and buys them as well if you want to sell it, and they also have this media project which basically they compare the newer edition.
Oh, so it's a big company that promotes
Yeah,
this.
it's not.
Okay.
It's not
I
top
thought
tier.
it's like
It's
a
not a television thing. It's more
No,
of
it's
a
YouTube. And
off-brand thing.
no, but it's interesting to see. It's
You know,
a very expensive car there, and then
Me and Dragos can be like the backseat testing the quality, as you said last time, with some coffees behind. Let's spill the coffee. And you guys
It's
drive.
noisy. It's
Yeah,
discomfortable.
bumpy. What's the suspension like?
You know what I mean?
no, we can be the stewards to decide. Okay, who won?
Yeah, we are the judges.
Yeah.
Did Adi win for the drag race or no?
Myself.
Yeah.
I'm quite an aggressive driver.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Here
I
we go.
am, but not necessarily unsafe. I mean, depends how you see it. But usually I stay in the limit. It's just that I hate when the people are taking so long, because you see, when you have a full stop, and then you got to the limit speed, you could do those 30 miles an hour in half an hour if you want. You know, some people are literally taking that. While myself, I just go as quick as I can to the limit, and I stay there.
The worst drivers that I've experienced is those who brake so often, and like they don't like leave a gap of like 2 meters, whatever, to whenever they brake, like every
Right.
time they never.
Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do that.
That's aggressive. In my opinion, that's a really aggressive because he wants to go or she wants to go like really fast. to
I
the
mean,
next point.
genuinely, driving for me, it all comes down to common sense. And the lack of common sense you see on the roads is just unreal.
Especially after this lockdown. Oh my god,
Oh
I feel
my-
like,
my-
oh my god,
Yeah.
what have you been until now, man?
Yeah, like you're just
What,
watching.
common sense?
Do you know what? The only way I can describe it is the lack of common sense people have at the airport as well.
No.
Like I used to work at Boots at the airport. Now, common sense would dictate. Everyone here knows you can't take big bottles of liquids on the plane. It's got to be the tiny ones.
Yeah.
It's been like that for God knows
Forever.
how long. The amount of people that would come into Boots and be like, I've just had my hairspray taken off me. Since when have you had to have a little bottle? And you're like, come on, it's been like that for 10 years. And then you see it on the roads as well. Like, people go and then stop and then go, and then someone's trying to let someone go, and then someone else has got fed up, and you're just sat there like...
I would agree because I told you the drivers are a little bit more aggressive than a common sense one.
Have you heard the latest one about that the companies, with the airplanes are limiting the weight of the attendants?
Yeah.
So if you are very...
Oh my God, I wouldn't go on a plane then.
No, not you, but probably they talk about very overweighted persons. So I've heard that they overcharge or they limit them to...
I think that's like...
America.
There's sort of like cheaper airlines where if you're over a certain weight, they'll charge you for 2 seats because you have to sit
Yeah,
in
I've heard
2
something
seats.
like that. I was like...
That's a bit ridiculous though.
But then it's just separating out a whole group of people just because
Yeah,
of
it's
the way
not
they look.
great. It's not great, but in the same time, you've got to understand that some of these flights are like £30, where
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
expect
Yeah.
how to take,
Yeah, cheap and cheerful.
how.
So-
I mean,
Yeah.
Cheerful.
So a tiny one will pay just half of the seat, or
Yeah,
what?
true.
Because there must be a compensation.
Well, it's like
half of a seat,
Yeah,
yeah.
so-
I remember a couple of years ago there was an airline that were talking about having a standing section on a plane.
Oh yeah.
Standing?
oh, I've heard
No
of
way.
that. Yeah.
How are you going to stand on a plane
Imagine
when it's
like
taking off?
turbulence, whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
you
Whenever
just
it's
be
in-
stood
what are you
there
gonna do? Like
going,
hold the
They're all flight
like a
attendants.
bus.
They'd turn it into a bus. You'd have a rail there.
Yeah,
You'd be
ding,
stood there.
You see, they've got this thing called overbooking. So when they overbook, they expect, but because usually on every flight they've got some people which are cancelling or
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
not
yeah.
reaching the flight on time. So they expect that they do a science out of it, and they think, okay, it will be almost there, but then there are always some people which are remaining off,
Yeah.
which is not great. So that's why they've got this new concept of standing in the
Standing, yeah.
plane.
Yeah, maybe if it's half an hour, yeah, maybe. But if it's a 3-4 hours
Yeah,
flight,
that's another
that
good
is-
point. But
But yeah,
How-
not even then. Even if it's half an hour, you stay.
yeah, it's not great. Anyway, let's.
How many countries did you visit? If you said about you traveled so much, let's say.
Haven't travelled a lot. I would like to travel more. A lot of my travelling was done while I was at school. Football tours. I went to Malta with my school.
Malta.
Germany, France. But I think my favourite trip I did was 4 years ago with my dad. We went to Latvia. And it was gorgeous. Such a pretty country. We went in November. It was absolutely freezing. We landed and it was like -11. I've never been so cold in my life, but it's such a beautiful
Come on,
country.
it's not that cold. Like the worst
Anyway.
one probably I had like -22, and it's not even the worst part of Romania probably.
Yeah.
You should go like one of those ones that you need to wear like heat pads for your hands and
Yeah,
feet.
no,
Yeah,
no.
but there's the humidity in Latvia, which is killing you,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And depends if you're not.
I mean, we went in winter, so it was freezing.
Freezing.
But I mean, it's so beautiful. Like, it's genuinely one of the most beautiful places I've visited.
There are so many gems in the Central Europe that
yeah.
no one is traveling much in.
I think
but if you go
There's a lot of the Baltic countries are gorgeous. If anything's like Latvia, it's just absolutely stunning. Like the scenery there. The reason I went, my dad's boss, instead of paying for everyone to go out for a Christmas do, he paid for everyone to go to Latvia for 3-4 days because it was actually cheaper.
That's a cool way of
Well, it was
reward.
It was cheaper than going out for a meal in London.
What?
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
With the plane ticket and everything?
Yeah, he paid for all the plane tickets. We just had to pay for stuff while we were out there. The plane tickets were cheaper than a meal for the same amount of people in London.
It makes
Wow.
sense actually because London is
Yeah,
very
London's
expensive.
so expensive. So expensive.
Yeah, that's another good thing about the Central Europe and Eastern Europe. If you go, you can spend very less money and you can enjoy a lot yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I got to experience something that I never thought I'd experience. I did the in Latvia. It's where the bobsleighs train for sort of those countries for the Olympics.
Oh, that's cool.
Went down a slope in the bobsleigh.
Oh,
Went down in an Olympic grade bobsleigh. The only thing I will say is the difference in health and safety in England compared to Latvia is ridiculous. I mean, going down a bobsleigh, down an ice slope, you would expect there to be someone that knows what they're doing in there.
Well, that's
No.
it. This is the trial by fire. We call it in the
Yeah,
Eastern
no, I mean,
countries. If you
mean,
don't know
it
what they're
was-
doing, you're gonna.
it was, here's a waiver, sign the waiver. Our instructions were shoulders up, keep your head tucked in,
That's it.
don't let your head drop, and they just pushed us down an ice slope. So much fun. I mean, I hurt myself because we went over a bump, and as we went over a bump, my shoulders relaxed, my head went up, and then went down, and for a good like 2 or 3 minutes, my head was stuck facing down,
Wow.
and I had to fight to pull it back up. I was in so much pain.
Well, because of the speed, or
Yeah, just the speed, like
Yeah,
it
the
forces your head
G-force,
down.
yeah, like a
Like,
G.
I'm like there trying to fight my head up, and all my muscles in my stomach are strained. The next day, I tried to get out of bed in Latvia in the cold, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't move.
Yeah.
that's a
not
good
for-
exercise.
That's,
You know?
that's not for everyone, isn't it?
No, no,
You've got to be a very good physical, like.
yeah, oh yeah,
So,
you
yeah, for
get a
sure.
whole nother sort of respect for people that do bobsleighing.
Hmm.
Like he was just like, yeah, there you go, pushed us. There was 3 of us in there. It was me, someone my dad worked with, and his wife, and we've just got pushed down an ice slope.
Yeah,
Glad I did it. Probably wouldn't do it again.
This is how,
Next
One
time,
time.
I
this
don't know
is how
about
the
that.
people are getting very tough in Eastern Europe. That's why some of them might. I mean, from your perspective, if you find them tough or like playing tough, it's not that they just try to pretend themselves. Some of them are really tough.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
they
yeah.
go through all
Yeah.
those nonsense things
Yeah.
which you would never do in the western
Yeah.
side of Europe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I would never have, like in England, if we had a bobsleigh run, you'd have to have like a 30-minute safety video. You'd have to go over
Yeah.
what to do if this happened, what to do if that happened. Not, here's a bit of paper, if you die, it's not our fault. Bang, go down an ice slope.
Told
No,
you, it's
but-
like a trial by fire. That's
Yeah.
how you.
This
No
is-
equipment, no helmet, no nothing.
That was it, we just had a helmet.
This is what.
It was not only the
You have
helmet.
equipment, right? You have. health
This
and
is
safety
literally the
equipment.
full extent of freedom.
Yeah.
You know, you take the responsibility of your shit, and you're not complaining. You're not, blame the companies or others. Okay, you take by the signature, you take the advantage of it.
For me,
And
it
that's
was when
Yeah.
when am I ever going to be able to experience something like this ever?
Yeah,
Oh.
Like,
By the way, if you go in Romania, there's a nice place that you should visit. If you go and visit Romania, there's a salt mine.
yeah,
It's one of the
Oh.
biggest in Europe. Like literally, the cave itself is like, I don't know, 15 meters high, and you can see the walls themselves. They're really
Yeah.
nice carved.
Yeah, it's
So if
very.
you want to go in Romania, just Google salt mines. That's I know it sounds like weird to go in a salt mine.
No.
It's one of those that I think they have
Yeah.
a hotel also in the salt
No,
mine.
this is a very posh thing. It's
It's
not like a
posh.
cave.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Nice lighting and so many rooms and it's great.
I would suggest like if you have the
Yeah.
possibility to go in Romania, try to visit the
Yeah.
salt mines. One of those.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
know one has a lake inside. You can.
Yes, I think
Go
there is
on
a
the
lake
lake,
also.
yeah.
There are rooms also, I think, in
Yeah.
that place.
We'll also have to check on Term, which is like a place full of water enjoyments.
Yeah.
Like you go and they've
Water
got
The water slides.
sliders, and, warmed pools, and all sorts of like, I don't know,
See, this
It
is
is-
the thing with England. There's just not a lot of cool stuff.
I mean, you have
Yeah.
the thing is that you
There
guys have
are,
more
yeah.
history than we have,
Yeah, but
right? So you we have a lot of history. I'm not saying no, but
yeah,
yeah, but
wherever you
the-
go
the-
in London,
the difference between history and then having like
Fun.
a spectacle
yeah.
and
That's
having
different.
fun and being able to do stuff that you never thought you'd be able to do, like going to a country and going bobsleighing like on a random Wednesday. I think it was like in London.
you could. Maybe
The-
there is somewhere that you can do because London is a big place, and you
Yeah,
never
but
know.
like
you
the-
could do
No.
bobsleighing.
Radu, don't try to overcome it because he does have the experience of it. He can
True,
make the difference. I mean, I would say the same. I couldn't find a very big place, for example, to like comparable with this term. This is how this is called term, literally, because they
Thermal
pump
water.
out some thermal
Yeah.
water, and it's a huge place with very posh pools and things like that. Lightings, and you've got so many saunas. You've
Yeah.
got one including is like a cinematograph. You just stay in the sauna and watch movies and things like that. So I found myself in a difficult position to find this kind of places in here.
yeah.
Water park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big
Oh,
water parks and
yeah.
things like that. Yeah.
I mean, you've got this is my only thing. Like, I went to New York last year. The scale of New York compared to London is something I just didn't
Yeah.
know existed.
Well, I think it's just because if you look on the map, like how big is the US?
yeah, but it's
so like one
it's-
state is just the
it's-
whole of UK.
but it's not.
Literally with the
it's-
islands. with
for me,
everything.
it's the little things. So like police sirens here are quite quiet. You can hear them,
Okay.
but they're not overly loud. Where we were staying in New York, we were on the 51st floor. You could hear the bass of a police car vibrating the walls of my hotel
Wha-
room,
Okay.
and we were on the 51st floor.
Wow.
Like in England, if you're 51st floor in a building and the
You can
siren's
barely hear
going off, you're not really going to hear it. You could hear the bass of this thing at like
Crazy.
10 o'clock in the morning.
Sounds like that's more crowded than London.
But that's just a police car, like the siren on a police car.
Sorry to interrupt something. You said that you have to pick up your little one at one point.
Yes. Yeah. I will have to leave.
Yes,
Okay.
I
alright.
would just
It's been
like
very good.
to thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. We'll
This
have to
is-
do it again.
Yes,
I
for
will,
sure.
we would much like to have you here the next time if you want to come
Let me know.
on the podcast.
Share this
Yeah.
podcast.
If you have
the
anything,
specific this one, not necessarily all of them. With
Yeah,
your
share it.
family,
Don't-
that
don't
will
forget
help
to
Oh yeah,
subscribe.
don't worry. My whole family's going to be watching this when it comes out.
plus 3 subscribers, nice.
Yeah. Don't worry. Everyone I know will be watching it.
Right.
But yeah, thank you for
Thank you for
joining
having me.
us.
No, I
it's,
definitely-
it's amazing.
Definitely
and
love to come
for
back.
sure we could have a longer conversation next time, but the
Yes.
circumstances.
Yeah.
I don't want you to.
That's
you know,
fine.
the little one has its priority.
That's
At the
like-
moment.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah. Next time we'll definitely make it longer.
Don't forget to subscribe underneath and press that
Bell.
bell button.
Thank you.
Get
everyone.
notifications.
See you
Switch them
guys.
on.
Yeah.
Comment, please. Comment.
Comment,
Comment.
share, like, subscribe.
Subliminal.
See you guys.
See ya.
Cheers.
See you, bye.